The fluorescent lights buzzed like angry hornets overhead as Charles Harlan, 28 and utterly exposed, watched my coffee mug shatter against the break room wall, splinters of ceramic flying like accusations. "Faggot," Mike snarled, his face twisted in that familiar mask of corporate camaraderie gone toxic. The word landing like a punch to my gut after 3 years of swallowing it down. In that split second, as hot liquid splashed across my shoes, I realized the silence in my soul had cracked wide open, and the storm I'd bottled inside was finally breaking free. It started small, the way these things always do in the polished hallways of Apex Marketing in downtown Chicago. I'd landed the job fresh out of grad school, a wide-eyed kid from the suburbs with a degree in digital strategy and dreams of climbing the ladder. The office was a hive of ambition, open-plan desks humming with keyboards, glass-walled conference rooms where deals were sealed over kale smoothies. I fit right in her, so I thought. My first week, I mentioned my weekend plans, brunch with my boyfriend, Alex, at a spot in Andersonville. The laughter that followed wasn't the warm kind. It was the sharp, echoing sort that lingers in your ears long after the room clears. By month 2, the whispers had teeth. Mike, the sales director with his gelled hair and perpetual 5 o'clock shadow, led the pack. He was 35, straight as an arrow, married to his high school sweetheart, and the king of the water cooler gossip. "Hey, Charlie boy," he'd say, loud enough for the floor to hear. "You practicing your catwalk for the next client pitch? Or is that just how you walk when you're, the team Sarah from accounting, a mousy 26-year-old with bleached blonde hair who giggled at everything. Tom, the IT guy in his early 40s, balding and bitter from a recent divorce. And even Lena, HR rep who'd just turned 30 and should have known better, would chuckle along, their eyes darting away when I met them. I told myself it was harmless ribbing, the price of being the only out gay guy in a sea of khakis and cologne. Alex, my rock of 3 years, would hold me at night in our cozy Wicker Park apartment, his fingers tracing the tension knots in my shoulders. "They're just insecure, babe," he'd murmur, his voice a soft anchor in the dark. Alex was 29, a graphic designer with tousled auburn curls and freckles that danced when he smiled. The kind of man who made my heart stutter just by brewing coffee in his boxers. Our love was quiet magic, lazy Sundays tangled in sheets, stolen kisses in dive bars, dreams of adopting a dog someday. But work was bleeding into us, turning our sanctuary sour. I come home drained, snapping at him over nothing, my laughter fading like an old Polaroid. One evening, after a particularly brutal team meeting where Mike jokingly suggested I handle the rainbow campaigns because it matches your vibe, I collapsed onto our couch, head in Alex's lap. "I can't keep pretending it's okay," I whispered, tears hot on my cheeks. He stroked my hair, his touch a lifeline. "Then don't. Fight back. Charles. You're stronger than they know." His words ignited some fungus spark of defiance amid the ache. That night, as rain lashed the windows, I pulled out my phone and downloaded a voice recorder app. It was impulsive, born of desperation. But in that moment, it felt like reclaiming my voice. The recordings began subtly. I'd prop my phone in my jacket pocket during lunch breaks, the mic catching fragments of venom. "Did you see how he flirts with the clients? Total predator," Sarah hissed one afternoon, her voice tinny through the speaker later that night. "Tom's barbs were clumsier. Bet he brings aids to the potluck past the chips. But not from his side." And Mike. Oh, Mike. He was the maestro, orchestrating slurs with the precision of a pitch deck. "We should start a fund for therapy. Charles needs it more than anyone here." Each playback clawed at me, a mirror to the isolation I'd endured. But it also armored me. Evidence. Proof. A weapon forged from whispers. As weeks blurred into a gray autumn, the bullying escalated, mirroring the chill seeping through Chicago's streets. They tampered with my presentation's subtle swaps of images, turning my sleek ad mock-ups into garish parodies with rainbow filters and winking emojis. Clients noticed, eyebrows raised in meetings, and my performance reviews tanked. "Charles, you're off your game." My boss, Mr. Reynolds, a stern 55-year-old with a comb-over and zero tolerance for drama, said during our one-on-one. I nodded, throat tight, the weight of unspoken accusations pressing down. At home, Alex sensed the fracture. We'd argue over dinner, retreating into silence. Him pushing for confrontation. "You're letting them win by staying quiet," he'd say, frustration etching lines on his face. But in the quiet hours, we'd reconcile with fevered embraces, his body a reminder that love could outlast hate. "I love you, Charles," he'd breathe against my skin. "All of you," unapologetically. One crisp October morning, the line was crossed irrevocably. I'd arrived early, nursing a latte from the corner cafe, when I overheard them in the supply room doors ajar. Voices unchecked. "We gotta do something about the ferry," Mike growled, rifling through reams of paper. "He's making the team look soft. Remember that merger last quarter? He probably queered it up with his little boyfriend vibes." Laughter erupted, Sarah's high-pitched trill cutting through. "Yeah. And his clothes. Always so. Extra. Like he's auditioning for Queer Eye." Tom grunted agreement. "I say we report him for harassment. Flip the script. Who'd believe a fag over us?" My blood ran cold, phone trembling in my hand as I hit record from the hallway shadow. This wasn't banter. It was conspiracy. A noose tightening around my career. My sanity. That recording played on loop in my mind as I drove home that night. The city lights blurring through unshed tears. Alex was waiting with takeout tie and a concerned furrow in his brow. I played it for him, the words spilling out like poison. His face hardened, then softened into fierce protectiveness. "This ends now," he said, pulling me close. "You're not alone, Charles. We'll face it together." In his arms, amid the steam of curry and the scent of his cologne, I felt the first stirrings of resolve bloom into something unbreakable. The next day, I started documenting everything, not just audio, but emails, timestamps, witnesses. A digital fortress rising from the ruins of my fear. Winter gripped Chicago like a grudge, snow blanketing the streets in deceptive purity. But inside Apex, the air crackled with malice. The pranks turned vicious, my desk drawers filled with crumpled pride flags. Anonymous notes scrawled with slurs tucked into my keyboard. "Go back to the parade. Glitter boy." I endured, my phone a silent sentinel, capturing every sneer. Every sidelong glance turned verbal assault. Mike's rants grew bolder during happy hours at the corner pub, where the team loosened ties and tongues. "Charles thinks he's special 'cause he's gay-like. Congrats. But keep it out of the office." He'd boom, sloshing beer, the group nodding like puppets. I sat at the bar's edge, nursing a soda, recorder whirring discreetly in my pocket. Sarah leaned in once, her breath sour with wine. "You know, if you toned it down, maybe they'd ease up." As if my existence was the offense. Through it all, Alex became my compass. We'd escape to the lakefront on weekends, bundled against the wind, his hand in mine a defiant warmth. "Remember our first date?" he'd say, voice cutting through the gale. "That rainy night in a Logan Square bookstore, where he'd bumped my elbow reaching for the same worn copy of Giovanni's Room. Our fingers lingering, sparks igniting. Now, those memories fueled me. One evening, as we skated on Millennium Park's rink, awkward spins and laughter echoing dropped to one knee amid the ice shavings. ring glinting under string lights. Marry me, Charles. Let's build a life they can't touch. Tears froze on my lashes. I said yes. The word of vow not just to him, but to myself. Emboldened, I confided in Elena, a quiet junior copywriter who joined 3 months prior. At 24, with sharp bobbed hair and piercings that hinted at rebellion, she was an ally I hadn't expected. Over vending machine snacks, she admitted her bisexuality. Eyes fierce. I've seen how they treat you. It's bullshit. Let me help. Together, we mapped it out, more recordings. Her as a corroborating witness. But trust was fragile. When Tom cornered her one day, sticking up for the queer kid. Careful. Sweetheart, doubt crept in. Was I dragging her into the fire? The climax brewed during the holiday party. A glittering affair in the office penthouse overlooking the twinkling skyline. Eggnog flowed. Carols warbled from speakers. But under the mistletoe, malice festered. Mike, 3 whiskeys deep, cornered me by the punch bowl. Merry Christmas, Charles. Hope Santa brings you a straight conversion. The room hushed, then erupted in awkward coughs. My heart hammered, but I smiled cold. Calculated. Phone in hand. Live recording. Funny. Mike. I replied evenly. But maybe he brings you a spine. Gasps rippled. Sarah's face paled. As the night unraveled, Elena slipped me a USB, backups of it all. Her voice steady. For the reckoning. January thawed the snow, but not the frost in my veins. Armed with terabytes of audio hours of hate distilled into irrefutable truth, I scheduled the meeting with HR. Lena's office smelled of vanilla candles and false assurances. But her smirk faltered as I laid it out. Timelines. Transcripts. The raw humanity of my pain. This isn't just words, I said, voice steady for the first time in months. It's a pattern. It's illegal. And it's over. Mr. Reynolds joined, his face ashen, the weight of lawsuits looming. Mike was called in, blustering denials until the first clip played his own voice. Venomous and vivid. The room spun with silence. Broken only by his stammer. It was just jokes. The fallout was swift. A domino cascade of accountability. Mike was suspended pending investigation, his empire crumbling under internal audits. Sarah resigned in tears. A half-baked apology email citing misunderstandings. Tom faced mandatory sensitivity training, his bravado reduced to mumbles. Elena got a quiet promotion, her courage noted in whispers. And me. The company rolled out anti-harassment workshops. My story anonymized, but woven into policy. But vindication tasted bittersweet. Scars don't fade with memos. In the quiet aftermath, as spring bloomed along the Chicago River, Alex and I planned our wedding small, intimate, on a rooftop with skyline views. Vows exchanged under a canopy of lights. His kiss sealing promises of forever. You turned pain into power, he whispered later. Our hands intertwined. And in that, I found the true regret, not theirs, but the years I'd lost to silence. Now, standing taller, I mentor at local LGBT centers, sharing my recordings not as weapons, but as warnings. Love isn't a battlefield we fight alone. It's the light that guides us home. In the end, they regretted it not because I broke them, but because I rose unbroken. The elevator dinged on the 22nd floor, but I lingered inside, heart pounding like a bass drum in a silent club. It had been 2 weeks since the holiday reckoning, yet the office felt alien, desks rearranged, laughter muted, eyes avoiding mine like I was a ghost in broad daylight. I stepped out. Charles Harlan. No longer the punchline, but the pivot point. Clutching my laptop like a shield. Whispers trailed me. Did you hear? Mike's out full severance. Good riddance, I thought. But the victory rang hollow without mending the fractures. Alex noticed the shift that night, his fingers pausing mid-stir on our pasta sauce. "You're carrying it all, aren't you?" he said, pulling me into the kitchen's warmth. At 29, he still had that boyish glow, but worry aged his eyes. I nodded, confessing the nightmares replays of slurs morphing into cheers at our wedding. It's not just about them anymore. It's mere learning trust. We ate on the balcony, City hum below, his head on my shoulder. "Then let's rebuild, brick by brick," he murmured. His proposal ring glinted on my finger, a talisman against the dark. Back at Apex, the workshops commenced stiff sessions in the conference room, facilitators droning on microaggressions with PowerPoints that screamed corporate cleanup. I volunteered as a panelist, voice cracking at first, then steady. It starts with a joke, ends with isolation. But speaking up, that's the real power. Elena sat front row, her nod a silent high five. Post-session, "Mr. Reynolds pulled me aside. His comb-over ask you, "Charles, your input. It's invaluable. Consider a lead on the diversity initiative." Shock rippled through my promotion, from pariah to pioneer. I accepted. The offer a bridge over the chasm they'd dug. But shadows lingered. Anonymous emails trickled in. "You ruined good people. Watch your back." Paranoia bloomed. I double-checked locks, glanced over shoulders on the L train. One rainy Tuesday, Tom cornered me in the stairwell, eyes red-rimmed. "Look, man, I was an ass. Lost my wife. Took it out on you. Therapy's kicking my butt, sorry doesn't cut it. But it's a start." His hand extended, tentative. I shook it, pulse racing. The moment raw with unintended humanity. Forgiveness? Not yet. But understanding cracked the door. Alex and I dove into wedding plans to drown the noise-tasting cakes at patisseries, scouting venues in the Gold Coast. Laughter returned, tentative at first, then full-throated over vegan tacos. "Remember that time we got lost in Humboldt Park?" he teased, evoking our sloppy early days. But beneath the joy, my recordings haunted a folder labeled Echoes, untouched since the purge. One night, insomnia gnawing, I played a clip, Mike's voice, slurred and small. I was scared. "Okay. Of what you represent, change I can't control." A confession from his exit interview. Leaked somehow. Pity stirred. Unwelcome but real. Hate wasn't born in vacuums. It festered in fears we all shared. Spring deepened. Cherry blossoms dusting sidewalks like confetti for our love. Elena became more than Alia friend, joining us for brunches where she spilled on her latest date. A non-binary artist with tattoos like stories. "You too give me hope," she said, clinking mimosas. At work, the initiative flourished, panels with local activists, pride flags and lobbies without irony. Sarah reached out via LinkedIn. A rambling message. I was blind. "Charles, seeing a therapist, now your courage shamed me into it." I replied neutrally. Boundaries firm. But the gesture eased something knotted. Yet Kitchen lurked. A whistleblower email from an old team member alleged cover-up Shire UPS knew about the bullying. Buried it for optics. HR scrambled. Investigations launched. I was subpoenaed for my files. The weight of testimony pressing. This could go public. My lawyer warned over coffee. A no-nonsense lesbian in her 40s. Dread coiled. But Alex squeezed my hand. Truth sets you free. Remember, court prep became our ritual mock questions over wine. His faith my armor. The hearing was a blur of fluorescent hell. Panelists stone-faced. I took the stand. Voice amplified by months of rehearsal. It wasn't just words. It was erasure. They made me question my worth daily. gasps from the gallery reporters scribbling. Mike testified remotely. Voice cracking over video. I regret it all. Lost my family. My job deserved. But it hurts. Empathy warred with justice. I met his gaze through the screen. Nodding once. Not absolution. But acknowledgement. Summer scorched in. Our wedding a week away. Rehearsal dinner at a riverside bistro. Loved ones toasting our journey. Elena stood, glass raised, to Charles, who turned poison into purpose. Tears pricked. Alex's kiss grounded me. But en route home, a call from Reynolds. Charles. The board wants you for V-Diversity lead. Full team. Elation surged, mingled with awe. From Bullied to Beacon. As vows loomed, I revisited the recordings one last time, not for pain, but release. Deleting files felt like shedding skin. Lighter with each tap. Alex found me at dawn. Laptop aglow. Ready? He asked. Curls sleep-tousled. More than ever. We walked to the altar hand in hand. Chicago's skyline our witness. I do. I said. Heart full. In that union, the bully's regrets faded. Mine transformed into grace. Life, it turned out, wasn't about payback, it was about rising. Loving fiercely. And lighting paths for those still in shadows. The gavel's echo still rang in my ears as I stepped into the summer swelter of Chicago's streets. The subpoena's shadow lifting like fog off Lake Michigan. VPME. Charles Harlan, 28 and battle-scarred, handed the reins to steer Apex toward equity. The title felt heavy. A crown of thorns turned laurel. But Alex's grin over celebratory gelato made it sparkle. My husband's a boss now. He teased, licking mint chip from his spoon. Our rings catching sunlight. Husband. The word thrilled. A balm on old wounds. Office dynamics shifted like sand dunes post-storm. New hires eyed me with reverence-tinged caution. Veterans with wary respect. Elena and I co-led the first diversity summit. Her energy crackling beside my measured calm. We're rewriting the narrative. She whispered during a break. Her piercings glinting under ballroom chandeliers. Attendees execs from partner firms. Activists with megaphone leaned in as I shared snippets. Anonymized, one voice can amplify thousands. Applause thundered. But inside, vulnerability quivered. Was I preaching from healed ground? Or just higher heels? Home was sanctuary. Alex's designs for our honeymoon, a cabin in the Smoky, scattered across the dining table. We'd married in a haze of petals and promises. His vows, I choose you. Every color of your soul, etching into my core. But marital bliss unearthed buried fears. During a quiet night, tangled in sheets, I confessed, sometimes I wonder if they'll ever see me. Not the label. He traced my jaw. I soft. They will. Because you show them how. And if not, we have thesis. His love was poetry in motion, turning my doubts to dust. Fall brought tempests. A rival firm poached talent. Whispers of sabotage linking back to Mike's old network. Anonymous tips flooded my inbox. They're coming for you. Paranoia peaked during a client dinner, where a slick exec in his 50s cornered me. Heard about your drama. Hope it doesn't affect business. My smile was steel. Recorder app discreetly launched. It enhances its authenticity cells. Back at the hotel bar, Alex waited. His presence a shield. Proud of you, he said, clinking glasses. That night, passion reignited. Body speaking what words couldn't draw. Reclaiming. Elena's personal storm hit next. Her artist girlfriend bailed, citing irreconcilable vibes, leaving her adrift. We three hunkered in our living room. Ice cream pints and bad rom-coms our cure. Love's a gamble. She sighed. Mascara streaked. Alex quipped. But the house always wins if you fold. I pulled her into a hug. You're the jackpot. It'll come. Mentoring her through heartbreak mirrored my own healing proof that pain shared lightened loads. The poaching escalated. Key accounts yanked. Blame fingers pointing at internal leaks. Reynolds called an emergency huddle. His face thunderous. Charles, your recording's anything recent? I hesitated. Then produced the XX clip. Audit team swarmed. Turns out, Mike had been whispering from his consulting gig. Grudge-fueled. Confrontation Lumita mediated call. Neutral ground. His voice crackled through speakers. I thought you ruined me. But therapy's shown me I ruined myself. Truce. Bitterness surged. But Alex's pre-call pep talk echoed. Forgive for you. Not them. I exhaled. Truce. But no more shadows. Click. Closure. Tentative as new leaves. Winter whispered in early. Our first holiday as husbands, a tapestry of traditions. Alex's family turkey. My mom's pecan pie. Elena crashing with spiked cocoa. Toast to resilience. Laughter drowning old echoes. But a package arrived unmarked, a thumb drive. Labeled the rest. Curiosity warred with caution. I plugged it in alone. Heart hammering. Video's grainy security footage of the bullying's origins. Mike rallying the team in shadows. A note from a friend inside. End it right. Tears blurred. This was dynamite. I debated deletion. But truth demanded air. Leaking it anonymously to industry blogs sparked a firestorm headlines screaming, corporate closet exposed. Apex stock dipped. But reforms accelerated, zero tolerance pacts. Ally training mandatory. Protests outside. Rainbow signs waving. My name chanted unwittingly. Overwhelmed. I retreated to the cabin early. Alex driving through snow-swept passes. World's watching. He said. Hand on my thigh. But I'm your audience. Fireside. We burned the drive symbolically, ashes to wind. Past a piece. Spring 2026 bloomed defiant. Elena landed her dream gig. Us cheering at her farewell bash. You to me, North Star. She toasted. My VP role solidified. Initiatives rippling nationwide. Mike surfaced once more a letter. Handwritten, regret defines me. But your grace redeems. Thank you. I framed it. Not for glory. But reminder, humanity in adversaries. Anniversary neared. Alex plotting surprises. A quiet dinner turned proposal redux on knee with adoption papers. Family. Charles. Joy exploded. Yes. 1,000 times. In that, the bully's legacy inverted from regret to revelation. Love didn't erase scars. It illuminated them, turning victims to victors. One heartfelt step at a time. Adoption papers crinkled in my pocket like a secret heartbeat as I navigated the throng at Pride Fest. Chicago's streets a riot of color and cacophony. At 29 now, the weight of last year's chaos felt like a shed skin. But the crowd's energy dragged queens strutting. Families waving flags stirred that old vulnerability. Alex squeezed my hand. His curls damp under the June sun. Our future's here, he said, nodding to a booth of smiling kids. The word dad danced on my tongue. Terrifying and tantalizing. Work hummed with purpose. My team. A diverse mosaic. Brainstormed campaigns that punched above prejudice. Elena video called from her new LA gig. Her face sun-kissed. Heard about the adoption Uncle Judy's incoming. Laughter bridged miles. Her thriving a victory lap for us all. But ripples from the leak persisted. A documentary crew pitched a feature. From silence to spotlight. I balked reliving hell for public consumption. Alex advocated gently. Your story could save someone. Nights blurred into script reads. My voice raw recounting slurs. His arms steady anchor. Summer storms rolled in. literal and figurative. A former colleague, inspired, sued her firm for similar SAYMA recordings cited as precedent. Media frenzy peaked. Interviews in sleek studios. Questions probing. Do you hate them still? I paused. Camera unflinching. Hate's too heavy. I pity the fear that fueled it. Headlines hailed grace over grudge. But trolls swarmed socials. Vitriol echoing old office venom. Alex curated blocks. His tech-savvy a shield. Their noise. Your symphony. He'd say, pulling me to dance in the kitchen. Fall foliage framed our home study. Social workers clipboard a gateway. Tell us about your love. She prompted. Eyes kind. We wove Tale's first kiss in rain. Wedding under stars, her nods affirming. But doubts nipped. Could I parent without passing shadows? Alex sensed. Post-visit lovemaking fervent. Bodies affirming wholeness. Will be enough. He breathed. Freckles' constellation close. Thanksgiving brought kin his boisterous clan. My reserved folks thawing over pie. A toast from my dad. Voice gruff, proud of you. Son. For fighting. For loving loud. Tears stung. Bridges mended in gravy warmth. Elena flew in. Tales of Hollywood hookups lightning air. But a call shattered idol, Mike. From rehab shadows. Relapse hit hard. Your story kept me going. Mind if I share credit in my amends? Shock softened to solidarity. I agreed. Voices uniting in unlikely harmony. Winter wrapped us in anticipation matched with a 5-year-old boy. Jamal. With curls like Alex's and eyes wide as worlds. First visit at the agency. His small hand in mine sparked terror joy. You like trucks? He asked. Toy clutched. Love em. I lied. Heart melting. Home transitions blurred days' bedtime stories. Park puddle jumps. Alex's lullabies harmonizing ours. Bullying's ghost flickered in discipline dilemmas. How to teach kindness without my scars bleeding. Elena visited. Spoiling with anti-flare. Your naturals. Spring 2027 unfurled with Jamal's adoption finalized. Court tears collective catharsis. Family. Judge intoned. Gavel gentle. Backyard party ensued rainbows strung. Cake smeared on tiny faces. But industry backlash brewed. Conservative clients bailed. Citing woke overreach. Reynolds wavered. Board whispers of cutbacks. Fight or flight? He asked in crisis huddle. I stood, fight with heart. Pitches pivoted. Landing progressive giants. Losses morphed to gains. Jamal's questions pierced. Why some kids mean? Bedside honesty. Fear makes monsters. But love slays em. His hug healed fractures I forgot lingered. Alex and I stole moments date nights recaptured. Passion rekindled in quiet hours. You're my hero. He whispered post-climax. Vulnerability bared. Anniversary hike in the dunes. Jamal napping in carrier. Elena tagging along. Summit views stretched endless. Toast to survival. A letter arrived later from Sarah. Now advocacy coach. Your regret taught me redemption. I shared with the boys. Circle complete. Summer solstice. Documentary premiere draw. Resonant. Q&A tears flowed. Regret. There's fueled my rise. Applause thundered. Afterward. Family huddle. Alex's kiss salt sweet. In that. The tale's arc bent toward light not flawless. But fiercely human. Bullies regretted. I rejoiced in reclaimed life. Love's endless echo. Jamal's laughter echoed through our sun-dappled kitchen like wind chimes in a gale. His 6-year-old energy a whirlwind as he helped, with pancakes, flour, dust clouds, and batter splatters our morning ritual. At 30, fatherhood had etched new lines on my face. But they smiled deeper than any boardroom win. Alex flipped a golden disc. Winking, Team Harlan's unbeatable. Our pod him. Me. Jamal. Elena's occasional chaos felt impervious. Yet the world's undercurrents tugged. Apex's resurgence dazzled, awards for inclusive campaigns. My keynote at national conference viral. From bullied to builder. Slides proclaimed. Applause a roar masking inner quake. Backstage. A fan gripped my arm young. Trembling, your story got me out. Thank you. Impact crystallized. Regrets residue alchemized to purpose. But home. Jamal's school start loomed kindergarten jitters mirroring my old office dread. What if they're mean? He fretted. Backpack oversized. Alex knelt. Tell a grown-up. Like Daddy Charles did. Pride swelled. Laced with vigilance. Fall crispness brought Elena's wedding her to a software whiz. Ceremony in a vineyard outside L.A. We jetted. Jamal flower boy in tiny tux. Stealing hearts. Vows echoed ours. Through storms. We stand. Reception dances blurred Alex, twirling me. Jamal giggling between. A toast from her. To Charles. Who showed us regrets, just a detour to grace. Tears brimmed. Later. Hotel balcony confessions, seeing you parent. It's my everything. Lovemaking followed. Slow burn reverent. Bodies maps of shared survival. Winter holidays amplified Joy Jamal's wonder at lights. Family gatherings sends old tensions. My folks gifted a scrapbook, clippings of my journey. From grad cap to gala speeches. Dad's note, you taught us love's language. But a shadow slipped in Mike's relapse story published. Crediting me. Backlash from fringes, hate mail. Traitor to men's screeds. I shielded Jamal. But Alex fumed, blocked the bastards. Therapy sessions doubled ours joint. Unpacking paternal fears. You're enough. Counselor affirmed. Our hands linked. Spring burst with Jamal's school play tree in a forest fable. His lines memorized with gusto. Audience cheers post-curtain. But principal pulled me aside. Some parents grumbled about. Your profile. Microaggression redux. Gut twisting. I advocated calmly. Diversity enriches. Ma'am. Wind secured. But exhaustion lingered. Alex planned escapee road trip up Michigan's coast. Dunes and lighthouses are reset. Car sing-alongs. Beach bonfires. Jamal's sandy hugs washed weariness. One twilight. Waves crashing. Alex proposed renewal vows. Forever. Fiercer. Sealed with salt kiss. Summer sizzled with opportunity book deal for my memoir. Ghostwriter sessions cathartic. Pages poured pain to prose. Office origins. Recordings raw edge. Love's lifeline. Jamal edited with crayon scribbles. His innocence antidote. Elena's honeymoon pics flooded feeds bliss beaming. But chapter deadlines clashed with a work crisis. Merger talks. Old rivals sniffing. Leverage your story. Reynolds urged. I did pitches laced with authenticity. Sealing deals. Fall harvest. Book launch loomed nerves electric. Alex's surprise. Reading with Jamal as guest star. Tiny voice on dedication page. To my daddies. Heroes. Crowd melted. Signings stretched hours. Fans sharing kin stories. A quiet moment. Mike approached clean-shaven. Steady. Bought every copy. Your words. Save me again. Handshake firm. Past poison purged. Winter wrapped launch success bestseller buzz. Talk show invites. But flu sidelined us. Family cocooned in soups and stories. Jamal's fevered whispers. Love you. Daddy. Healing collective. Spring renewal. Therapy capstone. You've integrated shadows. Alex's grin. Now? Shine. Summer solstice hike. Same dunes. Jamal scampering ahead. Summit circle. Elena visiting. Toasts to chapters closed. Memoirs epilogue penned in mind. Regrets echo fades in love's symphony. Bullies shadows. Mere footnotes to our epic family forged in fire. Radiant and real. The ink on my memoir's final proofs dried like a sealed pact. But the real binding came in Jamal's bedtime, readings his finger-tracing dedication. Voice mimicking mine, from hurt to heart. At 31, authorship crowned my arc. Yet imposter syndrome nipped heels during promo tours. Alex tagged along to coasts. His sketches capturing hotel sunsets. Jamal's energy bridging lonely miles. You're not just telling. You're transforming. He'd say. Easing stage fright with pre-show massages. Back in Chicago's embrace. School conferences highlighted Jamal's spark-heart prodigy like his papa Alex. But whispers of two-dad family from peers tested resolve. We hosted playdates. Normalizing with cookies and crafts. One dad lingered post-goodbye. My brother's gay struggles like yours. Inspired. Ripples eternal. Regrets redemption in micro-mentors. Fall foliage framed book tour climax hometown reading at the Andersonville bookstore. Full circle to Alex's proposal spot. Crowd swelled. Elena front row. Beaming. Even Tom. Reformed. Nodding sheepish. Excerpt on recordings drew gasps. Then ovations. Q&A vulnerability peaked. Regret. I regret silence more. Post-event. Alex pulled me to the romance aisle. Remember. Kiss reignited origins. Timeless. Winter's hush birthed new venture podcast launch. Echoes of equity. Guests from bullied to bold. First EP with Elena. Laughs laced with lessons. Downloads surging. Jamal produced with sound effects. His joy infectious. But a troll storm hit deepfakes twisting clips. Online mobs baying. Alex's IT lockdown. My public response. Hate hides. Truth endures. Support flooded. Allies amplifying. Spring thawed with renewal Jamal's birthday bash. Park picnic under blooms. Gifts unwrapped. But best, family portrait. Commission Edis 3. Colors vivid. Elena's gift, custom mic. For voices that matter. Tears. Her hug, your family. Always. Summer heatwave tested merger finalized. My role expanded to C-suite whispers. Board dinners schmoozed. But one exec sneered privately. Diversity higher. Huh. Recorder instinct flickered. I smiled, merit higher. Watch. Deals closed. Proving point. Home. Alex's gallery show his designs on canvas. Themes of resilience. Opening night. Jamal's critique, pretty like us. Sales soared. Pride parallel. Fall harvest. Podcast hit milestone mic as guest. Raw redemption arc. Your recordings. Mirror I couldn't shatter alone. Listeners messaged, healed my hate. Impact profound. Past's pain pivoted to collective catharsis. Winter solstice. Holiday lights twinkled as we adopted Sublinga Girl. Lila. 3. With braids and boundless curiosity. Agency handoff emotional. Jamal Big Bro beaming. Home chaos double diapers and dinosaurs but love quadrupled. Nights. Alex and I collapsed. Whispers grateful. Our village grew. Spring 2028. Lila's Coos harmonized family song. Book sequel pitch parenthood through pride lens. Elena co-authored. Her LA Insights gold. Writing retreats lakeside. Kids in tow. Words flowed freer. Summer peak. Podcast tour cities ablaze with stories. One stop. Young fan. Your bullies. Mine too. Now I speak. Chain unbroken. Alex's vow renewal surprise. Beach elopement style. Kids flower bearers. Evolving love. He said. Waves witness. Fall crescendo. Sequel deal inked. Elena's visit. From office outcasts to empire. Laughter echoed. Winter's grace. Family portrait updated for strong. Memoir's legacy. Not conquest. But connection regrets refining fire. Forging futures luminous. Lila's first steps wobbled across our living room rug like declarations of independence. Her giggles a symphony pulling heartstrings taut. At 32, with 2 underfoot, my world had balloon VP duties juggled with juice spills. Podcast eps edited amid nap times. Alex thrived in chaos. His freelance booming. Curls perpetually flower-dusted. Our circus. Our monkeys. He'd quip, scooping Lila mid-toddle. Spring's vigor-infused sequel drafts Elena zooming chapters. Her wit sharpening edges. Lean into the mess. She urged. Parenting's the ultimate plot twist. Tours paused for family. But virtual reads engaged fans, Q&As on resilience rearing. One mom shared, "Your story got my gay son through school hell." Ripples. Relentless. Summer scorched with Lila's pool parties. Jamal lifeguard at 7. Splashing sentinels. Elena jetted in. Anti-supreme with floaties and flair. Barbecue tales turned therapeutic, her therapy breakthroughs. Our adoption arcs. But a work curveball. Reynolds retiring. CEO nod my way. Board floated. Trepidation title. Ready to lead. Alex asked over Esmores. With you. Always. Fall's Amber Hughes hosted book fest booths buzzing. Lila and Carrier babbling approval. Signing lines snaked. Mike cued. Sober 2 years. Chapter on forgiveness. Spot on. Dialogue deepened. Unlikely bond budding. Podcast EP followed. Raw resonance. Winter Wonderland. Holidays amplified Lila's awe at tree. Jamal's elf antics. Family fused fuller. My folks doting on grandkids. Dad's quiet. You built beauty from bricks. Tears thawed old ice. Spring 2029. CEO vote loomed campaigns internal. My vision, equity as economy. Allies rallied. Elena's endorsement video viral. Win announced dawn meeting. Cheers echoing. Alex's confetti ambush homecoming. Mr. CEO daddy. Kids mobbed. Joy jackpot. Summer zenith. Lila's second bashgate carnage. Elena DJing. Sequel proofs arrived. Forward by Mike. From foe to fellow traveler. Healing handwritten. Fall harvest. CEO inaugural speech soaring. Regrets rear view. Progress windshield. Standing O. But post-gala. Alex's sweet surprise, champagne. Stars via skyline. To empires built on us. Winter's hush. Family ski trip slopes and snuggles. Jamal's question, were you scared like me on hills? Honesty, every day once. Loves the lift. His nod. Profound. Spring renewal. Podcast network, deal global reach. Elena, exec producer. Dreams dialed up. Summer solstice. Sequel launch bestseller redux. Tours with tots in tow. Fan letter, your regrets. My roadmap out. Fall crescendo. Awards gala CEO of year. Family beaming ringside. Acceptance. To those who bullied, thank you for the fire. To love, eternal fuel. Winter grace. Third child whisper surrogacy seeds sown. Legacy layering. In tapestries weave. Bully shadows, silken threads, regrets, rich hue in masterpiece of mercy. The CEO suite's panoramic view framed Chicago's pulse like a living canvas. But it was the crayon mural on my office wall, Jamal and Lila's collaborative chaos that grounded me. At 33, helm holding felt surreal. Decisions rippling realms beyond spreadsheets. Alex adapted seamlessly. His studio in our expanded home, a haven of hues. King of the castle. He teased mornings over espresso. Lila on hip. Jamal backpack ready. Spring's bloom heralded surrogacy match Emma. Warm warrior carrying our third. Ultrasounds wonder-filled. Kicks connecting unseen. Elena's baby shower, pastel pandemonium. Toast to tribes. From solo survivor to squad goals. She clinked. Summer symphony. Podcast empire expanded international guests. Stories transcending seas. 1 EP. Syrian refugees, queer odyssey. Mirrored Mind. Tears post-record. Book tour Europe. Family adventuring, Eiffel kisses. Gelato giggles. Jet lag bridged by Alex's lullabies. False fire. Third child's gender reveal boy. Blue balloons bursting. Jamal's big bro brag. Lila's baby brother. CEO crunch peaked. Acquisition talks. Ethics paramount. Lead with legacy. I'm Mantra Ed. Sealing fair fusion. Winter's white. Holidays hearth hugged Emma nesting nearby. Family feasts festive. Mike's card. Grateful for grace. Responded invite. New Year's toast. Circle squared. Spring 2030. Theo arrived tiny tempest. Cries concerto. Paternity leave cocooned us. Nights nursed in neon glow. Elena anteed in. Troops tripled trouble. Summer solstice. Family photo shoot 5 strong. Sun-kissed. Sequel brainstormed. Empires of empathy. Fall harvest. Global summit me, keynote TED level. Regrets redemption. From bullied to beloved leader. Virality vortex. Invites infinite. Winter's whisper. Theo's first strolls. Gurgles. Alex's exhibit. Family portraits. Love's lineage. Spring renewal. Emma's adoption into extended fold godmother honors. Summer peak. Podcast Emmy Nodwin Weepy. Dedicating to echoes that empower. Fall crescendo. Board expansion diversity directors. Mike consultant vetting. Winter grace. 4th anniversary as CEO gala with ghosts. Sarah keynoting allyship. In crescendo's close. Life's libretto sang. Bullies regrets. Mere motifs in magnum opus of magnified love humanity's hymn. Harmonious and hallowed.